palate as well. I feel like a mixture between pears and apples because it does have that kind of softness of the pears. It's not as crisp on the palate, but definitely a bit of tropical notes as well. Maybe it's those kind of sherry casks that gives it a bit of dried fruits influence, so like very mellow raisins almost. A bit of a malty note underneath those fruity tones as well, which makes your tongue feel slightly dry in the center, but it still feels very kind of mouth-watering. And the finish is very fruity, so it has almost like a Speyside fruity finish. But let's compare it to the yellow spot. Ooh. This almost reminds me of a green whiskey straight away, because it has a very crisp sweetness coming out straight away. It smells autumny. So maybe the green spot smells more summery, with like summer fruits perhaps, like sitting outside in the grass, maybe a grass note, but sitting outside in the grass having like a fruit salad of apples and maybe some clementines perhaps. Yeah, a bit of citrus, orange notes perhaps as well. But the yellow spot has this lovely, it has an influence of a tropical cask, which I believe might be the ex-malaga cask, but it's also like more kind of a red, like cooked red apples in a pie perhaps. It more has a kind of wine elegance, but very sweet wine. This is beautiful in the nose. Definitely a tropical influence, but more like an autumny tropical influence. This is one of those whiskies that I could probably nose all day, but let's have a little taste. Lunch of that. It's spicier than the green spot, but very, even though it's a lot of spice, it's quite smooth. So it doesn't feel prickly at all. It doesn't feel dry at all. It just feels like a lot of spice. More like a herby spice, but it mixes with a lot of tropical fruitiness. So more like a pineapple note probably on the tropical fruit, but not so sweet. It still has, it reminds me of a green whiskey because it has that kind of green sweetness. Just green sweetness with some pineapple flesh flavors, but also a malty undertone. They're definitely like a malty character as well. But let's go back. Oh, I got a finish on the yellow spot. This kind of vanilla oak finish that I usually tend to get from Irish whiskies, which I think is absolutely delicious. Yeah, that's really nice. Let's have a look on the green spot again. Very fresh and crisp. Yeah, fresh, crisp and fruity. It has a thinner mouthfeel than the other one. It's not at all as spicy. And it does have this note of like green apple peels. So when you chew the peels, they are not as kind of crisp as, of course, the kind of flesh of the fruit. But it does give you this like kind of chewy, almost bitter note. But it's that kind of green apple note that mixes with the malty notes, I think. Let's have a look in the yellow spot. I think you can definitely get that Malaga cask influence. Yeah, tropical, that pineapple. Maybe like a pineapple cake. An autumny pineapple cake. Like a pineapple red apple cake in autumn. Yeah. I'll go with that on the nose. Let's have a taste. Juicy, spicy. yeah, autumny, so it has almost like a hay note. It reminds me of kind of stepping on crisp leaves. But definitely like hay and apples and those tropical notes. I feel like this is a cold weather dram. Just want to sit home when it's cold outside, like when in autumn when the cold weather just hits you. I just want to sit home with a dram of this. Maybe it is because you kind of want those tropical notes and you're away to a faraway place, but it's, yeah, no, they're both really nice. I would of course love to hear if you've tried any green spot or yellow spot or any of these spot whiskies. Of course it's very interesting with single pot still whiskies because it's a different way of making whiskey, and of course it's only made in Ireland at the moment as far as I'm aware. It's a different way of exploring flavour, and of course I love exploring flavour, so it would be interesting to try definitely more of these and see what we can find. I know the spot whiskies have a lot of really interesting different kind of finishes. They have like wine cask finishes which are lovely. I tried one at the Whisky Lounge last year, which was I believe a red wine cask, which was really, really nice. And yeah, it's so interesting, but I would of course love to hear if you have any recommendations for me what I should try in the future. Feel free to like this video if you've liked it. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos I have coming up. We definitely have a lot of creative content coming up soon. But as always, have a lovely day. Slán